the raid got super buffed, right, over the last couple of weeks. Again, and it started really weak. Like we all know, tier ones, no power, etc., etc., etc. But raid got super buffed. So the way that it works now is it's tier three base. You don't have to do the raid a single time. It's not that weird triumph that you got to do and whatever wherever that triumph was in their titles. You don't got to like do anything before your loot starts getting higher. Tier three base. If you do the raid, guaranteed everything is going to be at least tier 3, which is not bad. You know, could be better, but not bad. Now, if you start adding feats, so you get 0 feats, guaranteed tier 3, small chance, low upgrade chance of tier 4s. Also, and I don't know how this will be like above, I think above 500 and below 400, you know, depending on your power, it might be slightly different, but at least where I'm at, your drops are going to be plus 2s. Actually, is that right? Maybe. It says 2 higher. But I swear I was getting plus 1s. But you'll get plus 1s or plus 2s on power, right, for each drop. Again, at least at 0 feats. And again, guaranteed tier 3s, chance of tier 4s. Adding in any feat, doesn't matter what, well, adding in any feat that's not Cutthroat combat, technically, we'll add in 1 feat to the raid. Which really doesn't change anything other than it increases your chance to get tier 4s. 2 feats, kind of same thing. So it's really not that worth it to do 1 or 2 feats. Like either you're doing 0 or you're doing 3. Because again, 1 or 2 feats still doesn't really change anything. Again, it increases your chance of tier 4s, but same power, still only guaranteed 2 these. Now, when you get to when you get to 3 feats, again, doing kind of the 3 that we usually do with phase limit, battalions, and token limit. Now you are guaranteed tier 4s. Everything is going to be tier 4 at least. A low chance of upgrading to tier 5s, which is your normal drops and your chest drops. We saw during that last raid, I did get a tier 5 rocket from a secret chest, not from encounter drops, so those can still be a thing. And then you'll still, again, get those higher power drops, which even the secret chests were giving me power. I'm interested to see if we run it again, you know, what that would do. But at least according to this, it looks like I should still get power from future drops. I will not get the extra drops because those extra drops were more power, I think plus 3s. And then the other nice thing, so the pinnacle or like the weekly reward or whatever, which I don't have access to here, but if you hover over it and hit like a LT or, you know, like the normal, like what we used to have when you hovered over stuff, those drops, which you get 1 per encounter per week, will be more power depending on, you know, how many feats you do potentially, but I think it was plus 3 is at 3 feet. And it will upgrade the tier by 1. So at 3 feats, you have tier 4 base, quote unquote. But every single one of your like extra drops, so the 1 run per week, will be tier 5s. So you're guaranteed 4 tier 5 pieces of loot if you do 3 feats or higher. And again, every single drop you get has a chance, low chance. I think I got 2 out of the technically 7. 2 of the 7 for me went for tier 5 that weren't guaranteed to be tier 5. So again, low amount of drops to really give it any sort of math behind it. But 2 out of 7 is not terrible. So yeah, now 4 feats. 4 feats, if we look at that, increases this to medium chance to tier 5. Also increases the power per drop. So again, sort of a reason to do tier 4s. And then 5 feats, which we're going to show this twice actually, but 5 feats, guaranteed tier 5s now. Guaranteed. Everybody put the word guaranteed, which is really cool. Again, 5 feats is quite a bit more challenging than 3 feats, or even 4 feats potentially. But guaranteed tier 5s is pretty cool. For sure. Now, other thing is Cutthroat Combat actually counts as 2 feats now. So you could remove any of these other 4 feats, and you can see that it still says it's 5 feats because this one counts as 2. So it's like the 3 plus the 2. So that's cool. Still have 5 feats. If you do Cutthroat Combat, you only need to do 3 of the 4 other ones for 5 feats. And then additionally, which we again saw at the end of the raid, but basically anything you unlock during the raid, as always, you can buy from this chest at the end, right? You know, with spoils. But since the base of the raid is tier 3 now, if you do a full run, that increases your highest, like what you can buy by +1. So if you do a full run at any level, you can buy a tier 4 at the end of the raid, assuming you've unlocked it. You have to unlock that specific piece of tier 4 to buy it. And if you do a full run and a 3 feet run, both of those are +1 to your base, so you can buy a tier 5 at the end of the raid, again, assuming you've unlocked that tier 5. So, basically, TLDR, if you do 3 feet raids, you're guaranteed to get some tier 5s. You're guaranteed to get some power. Your first run of the week, you will get 11 drops, because you get 2 per encounter. Actually, 12 drops. You get 12 drops. 2 per encounter is 8. 3 secret chests is 11. And if you do the full run, that's an extra drop. So technically the boss actually gives 3 when you do a full run. So that's 12. And if you buy a tier 5 at the end, that's technically 13. Now that one won't be powerful at all. But 12 to 13 raid drops, all powerful, other than the one you're buying. Or all like higher power than you. Some will be higher than others, but all higher power than you. At least 4 will be tier 5s. Again, at least assuming you're doing 3 feet. So a lot of like the raid definitely is infinitely more rewarding than when we started. We went from tier 1s, no power, and like technically 7 drops because there weren't any extras. You can still do the secret chest, but 7 total drops. Tier 1s, no power. Maybe tier 2s if you're doing 3 feet, but like tier 1s, tier 2s. 2 tier 5s guaranteed. Some get tier 5s guaranteed with a bunch of tier 4s. A lot of power, or at least a lot more power, and almost like double-ish the amount of drops for a full raid. Pretty big increase.